friends and mimosas. Yeah, it's gonna be bubbly kind of time. Join new friends to relax and unwind. The best food with drinks on the side. Cheers to the good times.
Cheers to friends and mimosas.
Friends and mimosas.
It's friends and mimosas.
Oh, you know, a lot of meteorologists knew from like age 3 that they wanted to be a meteorologist, and I will admit that that was not my case. I don't think I even realized it was an attainable job. Like, I saw the people, but I didn't think it was like a job until after Katrina. I was in 8th grade when Katrina hit, and I just saw how the community trusted these people, looked up to these people, not only beforehand for information, but after the fact for like some sort of comfort, you know? And so that idea really drew me to it and started mentioning it. And my parents, my grandfather was a big weather lover, and so was my uncle. My parents were kind of like, I think weather is a hobby, not a job, you know? And I was like, okay, you know, I kind of like took that, like, okay, I'll maybe get more interested in it. But then the little teenage angst in me wanted to go out of state for college. And one avenue to do that was to pursue meteorology because Mississippi State had a great meteorology program. So in Starkville, in fact, LSU is playing them right now. And this has become a debate. That's where I met my husband, at Mississippi State. But then he went to LSU Medical School, LSU residency, and is now faculty for LSU. So our family collectively has spent more time at LSU than we have at Mississippi State, even though we both did our undergrads there. But we cheer for both teams. On this day, we just want it to be a good game and for everybody to, you know, nobody get hurt, that kind of thing.
Meteorology, went to college.
Yeah.
Then you came back home.
No. So while I was in college, I was lucky enough to get a few jobs in school.
Okay.
Which allowed me to then get a job out of school where they thought I was a little bit older than I was. So I went out to Fresno, California. My husband came to medical school here, but we weren't married yet. And so I went out to Fresno, California. I spent about 6 months there before Kyle proposed. We had dated all of college.
Okay.
And then Kyle proposed, and I said, well, now I'm in a long contract, so you're going to have to wait a little bit. But it was about a year later that we got married, and I came back to New Orleans, and the dominoes just all fell where they were supposed to. That Fox 8 had an opening, and that's literally, I signed my contract the Friday before my Saturday wedding.
Wow.
I'll never forget that they called me and said, we've got the contract ready if you want to come sign it. I'm like, I do, because I want to tell people at my wedding.
Things are just meant to happen when you fall into place like that.
I laugh about that all the time. It's like, someone once described it to me as a big puzzle, and when you look back, the pieces all fit, but when you're looking forward, it just looks like a bunch of puzzle pieces. And I thought that was the best analogy for my life, especially. Looking back, my goodness, it's like, how did that all end up working together? But it does. It works out.
How many times do you get, is this drought ever going to end?
Gosh, this year has been bad. Yeah. I don't just get it from the public, I get it from my husband, my family. You look around the neighborhood and the grass is like starting to die. You know. The problem now is that, no, unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be much rain with this front coming tomorrow.
Oh, it did decrease, they said. Yeah.
But the humidity will still go down. So
that's a plus.
But unfortunately, unless you get a tropical system, which we don't really want, September is typically pretty dry. October and November are typically pretty dry. Yeah. I always tell people those are the best months to get married in New Orleans. October and November, because they're usually driest. And you're just past hurricane season.
True. Right.
Typically.
You're not
we got a few like
enjoy the weather still. You miss it. Do you miss being in the weather?
I do enjoy it. I do miss it. And I think one of the hardest things is that I want to be, especially during hurricane season, because like I told y'all, that's what propelled me toward this career anyway. So especially during hurricane season, I want to know everything about what's going on. I want to be super interested in it. But when I'm at work, while I do some weather, my job is mostly anchoring and hosting the shows now. So I don't really have a whole lot of time at work to focus on it. And then at home, I mean, it's just constant. The kids have needs, and it's constant. So I don't get to look at things, look at the models, look at the charts like as much as I used to and as much as I'd even like to. But I know that there will be a time in my life in a season where I can get back into that if I want to. Right now it's just not that season.
Do you see yourself getting back into it when the kids are grown?
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoy weather. You know, like my parents said a long time ago before they realized it actually is a pretty good career. You know, it is a good hobby too. It's just fun to look at, and it's something. There's always something new there to learn and to look at. So yeah, I totally see myself getting back into it. I'm not sure about on air. It'll depend on the opportunities there and things. But right now, I really like what I'm doing, and I like the part-time schedule so that I can be with my family.
Right. Sure. It's a new show.
New show. Okay. Nola Now is from 11 to 11:30 for now. Maybe expanding one day, depending. We also have the 10 to 11 with Rob. And so the biggest difference between those two shows is that the 10 to 11 is still a newscast. We do still have a little bit of news in there. And the 11 is really kind of my baby. I do weather at the end because I was like, please let me do weather this time. So I do weather at the end, and I'm kind of grooming Fridays to be sort of a science Friday kind of thing. We've been slowly coming up with themes and kind of seeing what sticks, what works. I'm trying next month to start sort of a book club on the show.
Nice.
Where in the first week of the month we will bring on a local bookstore, have them introduce us to a few different books that people might like to try, but we'll pick one that I will read, and we may even have like a social media group for people who want to join the book club.
That's a good idea.
And then at the end of the month, ideally if it's a local author, I will have them on the show to talk about their book. And so there may be spoiler alerts, but you've got a month to get through it. And I've got 5 kids and I'm going to be reading it, so no excuses. 10 a.m. show, while it is still a news show, it has some of that lifestyle-y feel. So Rob and I are always cutting up on there. And we're just trying to make like a happy part of the day. And that's what the feedback has been. It's like, you see a lot of news that is just brings you down. These shows are definitely going to make your day better.
Yeah.
That's the goal going in, is that we wanted to celebrate like New Orleans culture, which is happy and fun-loving and easygoing.
Yes.
And so that's what we're trying to do with these shows. So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you like working with Rob.
Love working with Rob. You know, some people have like a work husband-wife relationship. That is not Rob and I. Rob and I have a work brother and sister relationship.
You know, one word to describe him.
One word to describe Rob. I can go so many directions with it. No, one word. Like, cause I could say he's just a goofball. I mean, he's so, you know what, fun. He's just fun.
That's a good one.
Because I didn't want to say goofball, because he's also a professional. Like, he really is behind the scenes and on air. You can tell when something serious happens. Rob can pivot from that fun New Orleans persona to a very serious journalist very quickly. So it feels wrong to stereotype him as goofball, because he can be serious, but he is always, no matter the situation, fun. 5 little girls. Oh. Jenna is my oldest. She is 5. Martha is 3. And the triplets just turned 2.
Describe in one word.
Ooh, a
sure they all have
That's
their
tricky.
own
Okay.
little personality, you know?
I think I can do that though. Let's think. Jenna would be
And that's the
my oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll go in order. Jenna would be a leader, independent. She's like mommy's big helper, you know. She's taken on that oldest girl role, big sister role, right in stride. Martha, I really think is going to be my artist. She is sweet. Curly hair. She is just sweet. I mean, she melts everybody who meets her. And I always say, there's just something about Martha. There's just something about her. And not that there's not something about every one of my other kids. They're all amazing. And her little smile and just the way she will cuddle up to anybody, she just melts everybody. And then the triplets. It's funny. I call Ruth Jenna 2.0. My youngest is exactly like my oldest. She is the biggest of the triplets, which confuses people, which is kind of funny because the only reason there's a younger and older triplet is by a minute. Right. Got pulled out first. Right. But
she has darker hair than
she has darker hair and straight hair. Okay. And the other two, you can't quite tell because it's still really short, but it's starting to come in with a little bit of curl.
They look alike. The two little ones.
They're identical. Okay. And y'all, I was cracking up the newsroom this past week because for a week we haven't had their earrings in, which is how I usually tell the difference. They are so identical. There are a lot of identical twins who like have something and or you just get to know them and you can just tell the difference. And when I tell you these two are like, they look so much alike. Oh wow. And here's the thing, when I go, this is why everybody was laughing, because I would ask them, like I'd be trying to dress them for bed and I'm like, are you Elaine? Are you Elaine or Mavis? And they look at me and they laugh. And I'm like, which one are you? And they're like, and I don't know if they think I'm kidding or if they think they're messing with me. But either way, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Y'all are, come kindergarten, come just a year from now, I am in so much trouble.
So did with the older triplet.
Well, the younger triplet. She's just like Jenna, the oldest. Elaine is probably my most like even keel. Like she has her moments, like when she wants something, she'll yell. But Mabel, I call Martha 2.0. She has that same like charming little smile. Despite them being identical, Mabel has that like it's almost devious a little. And Martha has it too. Mabel and Martha are so similar. Jenna and Ruth are so similar, and Elaine is my true middle of the middle. She's just even keel and usually pretty chill.
I love their names.
I know.
They're so
There's old names.
Yeah.
People gave me a hard time, but I was like, I don't care. I like them.
Yeah, I love it. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good excuse to get out on the weekend, tell my husband, you and the kids.
He stays with all five by himself? Yes.
No problem.
And recognizes that I do it a lot more often. And I mean, he comes home, he's the first one. I'm telling you all, my husband is like an angel of a human. He comes home from the hospital, long day work, jumps right in, and just says, he tells people at the hospital all the time, like, I wouldn't trade with my wife. He knows.
Oh, yeah. It's hard.
He says that, but then he comes home and is like super dad. So I'm like, you probably could trade with me and do a better job, you know? He's great.
Have any tips for moms with
Moms of multiples or just moms in general?
both? Let's say both.
I do. Not like specific tips about like potty training and things like that, but the overarching like how to be a mom.
Potty training. You have a tip for potty training?
Yes. I think do it before, and this is against probably most, do it before their will becomes so strong. I really do think younger is better. A lot of parents these days are waiting until 3 before they're like, oh my gosh, we really got to get this done. We cloth diapered our kids. I think that gave me an advantage because they can feel the wetness or whatever, and they don't like it, so they want to hydrate faster. But the triplets have been in a little more, we still do cloth with them, but they've been a little more disposable, and they're not trained yet. yet, but my other two girls were trained at
At what age? By 2? They were trained?
Yeah, they were trained right around 2. Martha a little before 2, Jenna a little after, but right around 2. And I think it was before it was like when they started getting those attitudes, but it wasn't as much of a struggle because they didn't know that they could say no to mom. You know, it was kind of like, let's just go do this. It'll be fun. Trust me.
Yeah.
And then like getting meals. Oh, and having a portable potty. Oh. They make these ones now that fold up. I use it for Mardi Gras. It's amazing. It's this big. It's this big. And you can, if you're like at a public restroom, you can even pop it out and make it a little potty that sits on top. But it can be its own standing thing. You put a Walmart bag inside of it and let them go to the bathroom in that, tie it up, put it in the trash can.
Okay.
And so then if you're at the soccer field, if you're at Mardi Gras, if you're in the car line, I have done it inside my car in a car line before. It's like you don't ever have to tell them no or make them have an accident or whatever. You can just say,
Very convenient.
I've got it.
Yeah.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
You know, side of the road, you can pull over and pull it out.
I like that.
I played this game before.
Receive several small but meaningful gifts from your significant other, or one big flashy one.
Small, meaningful.
Yeah. Small, meaningful.
Small, meaningful. He's very artistic, so he will like make things or do things in that.
See.
Whereas like a big flashy piece of jewelry or something, he just wouldn't even know where to start. So I'm fortunate in that way that I would prefer the meaningful gifts than the big flashy things.
So is that your love language?
Gift? I don't think so.
No.
I don't know if it would be. I don't think it's necessarily physical touch, although I do love the cuddle. I'm trying to think of what they all are.
Service kind of person.
I'm like food is not one of the official ones, but I feel like my love language is food. Like cook for me and then also do the dishes and I'm good.
So that could be considered an act of service. So there you go.
Yeah, you're right. You kidded me. Act of service.
Okay.
Offer to take the kids on a walk?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Meet your number one celebrity crush and find out they're a complete a-hole. Or not meet them at all and still have the image in your head.
I don't know. See, social media just ruined one of my favorite celebrities for me. I loved Jimmy Fallon. I had no idea some of the allegations against him. Until recently.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
I did not see it coming.
It's a similar, similar
was,
situation to the whole Ellen show where the environment, the work environment.
The work environment. He's apparently pretty hard on his employees.
I would have never guessed that.
And I hated that, especially being someone who works in TV and knows how frustrating certain things can be, but that you can still treat people with respect and talk things out, and you don't have to lash out like you're some big anchor. You don't have to do that.
Right.
And so, but I really loved his bits and loved his personality, and I believed it. I was 100%. But anyway, so they already ruined him for me.
So would you rather?
I would have rather not known. That said, for the sake of his employee, I'm glad that it's out in the open, but for me personally, I'd rather not know.
I wonder if he's always been like that, or if his head just got too.
I wonder that about all kinds of people who get themselves into trouble.
Well, from the interview that I saw, it made it sound like not that his head got big, but I guess when you have a really popular show, the pressure to kind of keep that momentum going is what created the whole that's what atmosphere from the interview I saw.
No, there's definitely, but like I said, being in that position every day, I recognize there are times where I'm on the show and something is happening behind the scenes and no viewer knows. You know, it's like a waitress. And I really think that everybody should have some sort of like service job in their life. I like firmly believe that. Maybe that's a motherhood tip. Make your kids work in a service industry.
That's a good one.
Because it just changes how you like treat people. Because you've been treated poorly by people who didn't know better.
Right.
Or you think, or maybe should have known better. But it's kind of like being the waitress. You're the front face. And things can be going sideways in the kitchen, but you're still trying to give a good experience to your customers, and they may think that you are the problem, and it's really not you. But you don't want to throw your kid. They're already having a hard enough time. You're not trying to throw them under the bus, for the sake of yourself or your tip or whatever. So you just kind of grin and bear it, and get through it the best that you can, to be a good team member. So yeah, I really hated finding that out. Anyway, the question was, I would rather not know, because it hurts me deeply when people that I like end up being not nice.
Yeah.
You too. You would
I
rather
probably not know. That way I can keep my image of you.
You have a celebrity crush in your head?
Not really. Oddly enough.
Who was your celebrity crush when you were a kid, though? That's my favorite to find out about people.
I did kind of have a crush on Tay Diggs.
Oh, okay.
I did a little bit.
He's very handsome.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Mine was Orlando Bloom. In the 5th grade, I was going to marry Orlando Bloom. To the point that I didn't even like Keira Knightley in the Pirates of the Caribbean because she was his love interest. Which is totally unfair because I'm sure she's great.
Okay, here we go. Have no one show up to your wedding or no one show up to your funeral?
I don't care if people show up to my funeral.
You don't?
Plan for my funeral. I have already told you. I'm always worried about worst case scenario. So I'm like, I want my friends and my family to take I want a destination funeral is what I have said.
Destination?
I don't know if this is a thing because I came up with it.
You're just telling everyone now.
I'm telling everyone now, so make it a thing. Let's all start doing it. It'll be fun. We're going to have a destination funeral.
Okay.
Take my ashes, leave me, I don't care. I'm not there, it's fine.
Okay.
Go somewhere cool. Somewhere that you haven't been. Like say, Greece. Family hasn't been to Greece yet. Let's take it to
go
Greece.
as a family.
In honor of Shelby, we're going to Greece as a family. We're going on a backpacking trip in Patagonia because when else are we going to, we're not going to make time for it, but in honor of me, make time to do something really cool that is going to make your life better because I'm not here anymore.
Right.
So make your life better, build those relationships, make a trip that you're not going to forget, and do it all because,
Are they bringing the ashes with
I don't
them?
care. She said she doesn't care if you leave
You
it
don't
there.
care? You don't want your ashes spread? Is that the
If they want to, if that makes them feel like it's more about me or whatever, that's fine. I don't care. But they don't have to.
About you, bringing you along.
If it causes a hang up at airport security, just leave me behind. It's fine.
Leave me at the door.
Get there, have a good time. Pour one out for me.
I like that.
Destination funeral, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's becoming a thing.
You just started it.
I don't want it to happen anytime soon.
No.
But when it does happen, I hope that my family's like, Mom always said she wanted this weird thing. Let's do it. Let's
Do you
go.
think it'll change as the years go, your destination funeral?
I don't know. I think it's a really cool idea, and I'm pretty set on it. I just want my kids to know that I didn't take life too seriously.
Right.
And that something like that, while it feels really serious and really heavy, that it can be a transition to a new phase of your life.
Right.
All of us go through loss.
Yes.
And I think that the losses in my life have changed me in ways that I can only say are for the better because I feel like I'm a better person now than I maybe was 10 years ago. And the biggest life changes that I have really surrounded the creation and the loss of life. My kids coming into my life has been a huge transition, and the loss of people like my grandparents and Nancy Parker, who was a very close friend and coworker, dramatically changed who I am. So, when I go, I want my kids to know that I didn't take it too seriously and that they can still have fun and think about me and it not be a sad.
Right. So you going for the wedding?
Right.
Right. Show up to my wedding, which we had a wonderful wedding in the French Quarter, right next to the Ursuline Convent, St. Mary's Italian Church.
Yeah.
And then we rode a bus to Jack's Brewery.
Okay.
I believe it was the third floor was the Patos floor, so we had a Patos bar for our wedding reception. After the ceremony, which was where my grandparents got married about 60 years prior. So it was a really special moment. My grandmother and I were born about 60 years apart. It was 60 years and 2 days.
Wow.
My Mimosas Latino and I, my paternal grandmother. And it was where she and my grandfather got married, who to this day I would say are the, if I had to like rank the people in my life, the couples in my life, and how in love they were the most like magically in love people. Like they looked at each other and they were so sweet on each other. It was just one of those like storybook kind of thing. And they got married there. So for our birthday, I took her out and then I drove her to the church. And, you know, I said, Mama, I want to tell you something. Like, you know, I'm getting married in November. Like, I want to show you something. And she's like, where are we going? Where are we? And like, just bear with me. And she kind of realized, like, as we were walking in, but they set it up so that the church would be open for us, and it's mostly closed now.
Yeah.
And they opened it up, and we walked down the aisle, me and her. It was so sweet. It was so sweet, and she was so teary-eyed. But it was really special.
Yeah.
Really
That's a great
special to
memory.
share that with her.
Yeah. We have given you 3 wishes.
Can I wish for like all of my? I'm trying to think one that, you know, because sometimes wishes get flipped on you.
True.
Like all of my family to live happy and fulfilling lives for the time that they are here. Fulfillment, I think, is so important.
Yes.
Because I think people can be happy temporarily, but unless you are fulfilled, you're not truly happy.
Right.
Okay, so happy and
That's a good
fulfilled
wish.
lives for my family and friends. It's kind of a loose. Just everybody I'm in contact with and everybody just be happy. I wish I could like wish for weather systems to be super cool and interesting but never hurt people.
That's a good wish.
Yeah.
Because I'm so fascinated by the storms, but really as a meteorologist you have to like balance that with like, oh my goodness, this is such a powerful, at times like beautiful atmospheric phenomena,
But you know
but
the
it
destruction
is
it's gonna
going
cause.
to be bad.
Yes.
You know, you have to balance that. So I wish that we didn't have to. I wish we could just appreciate nature for all the things that it does without it actually hurting people.
Right.
Third wish. This is more like a societal. I just wish that we could find a place where we could all meet. Like we don't have to all agree. I think it's good to have disagreement, and that allows for growth in a society. And I think we're going through a huge growth right now as a country and as a society. But I really wish that we could find a way to like meet each other where we're at a little bit better. Because I think that would help us grow faster if we were less combative and more like willing to meet each other where we're at. So I'm not sure exactly how that wish should be phrased, but I do just wish like in my lifetime that I could see it come back to a more peaceful time, because it didn't feel like my childhood was like this.
Right.
And it makes me a little anxious to raise my children in a world where it's so tense and people are so angry at each other. I just wish I could wish it away and just say, just make it a happy place for kids to grow up again.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. 3 great wishes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
But y'all don't have to come up with wishes?
No.
What are y'all's wishes?
Friends and mimosas, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, like, comment and share, just to show that you care.